What's up, boys, girls, and everyone who identifies in between? Kyle Ritchie here, gleefully welcoming you to not only the first video on my new Planet Comedy YouTube channel, but the first video in our film review series, Real Reviews, where I will be putting my 2 college semesters of film study and creative writing classes to good use, providing you, our lovely and horrifying viewers, a fun, informative, and entertaining look at the latest movies, television shows, video games, and any other type of media that I happen to be interacting with at the moment. The first video, we will be reviewing one of the most hyped and critically acclaimed films of 2025 so far, Ryan Coogler's epic vampire period piece, Sinners, which just dropped on HBO Max this past Friday. So without any further ado, please enjoy the first episode of Real Reviews, and be sure to give us a like and a subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And do you guys hear that? Hollywood, the land of dreams, sequels, prequels, reboots, remakes, and reimaginings. The film industry has a real problem finding new and original ideas in today's media climate, recycling the same old big IPs every year to turn a profit instead of taking a chance on something that might be a little outside of the box of your traditional modern motion picture. Now, to be fair, this does tend to be a more financially responsible decision, given that your everyday person is much more likely to make the blood sacrifices required to afford modern-day movie tickets when they see a more recognizable name, face, or logo in the trailer or on the poster. Having people go, "Hey, I remember that movie," is one of the last guaranteed ways to get people through the doors. But every once in a while, a studio takes a chance and gives a director the creative freedom to try and make something fresh. The results can vary from this decision. Sometimes allowing a director the freedom to make something in their own vision leads to films that are memorable for all the wrong reasons. But then, sometimes you get a movie that is a completely unique, true work of art. This is where Ryan Coogler's Southern Gothic vampire flick, Sinners, firmly resides on the spectrum, as it is one of 2025's most talked about movies, being referred to as an instant classic by fans and critics alike, with the recent 4th of July release on HBO's premier streaming service Max, giving many people their first opportunity to check out this potential touchstone of modern cinema. I will answer the question that I believe many who may have not seen it yet still have about this film, which is Sinners really that good? Sinners is centered around the identical twin brothers Smoke and Stack, played by Hollywood heartthrob Michael B. Jordan, as they return home to Mississippi after serving in World War II and subsequently working for the infamous Chicago mob outfit, with the purpose of opening a juke joint inside an old sawmill that they purchased from a local Klan member. That is when they are confronted by an unforeseen supernatural evil. Vampires. His vampires. Now, it's easy to call Sinners just your standard run-of-the-mill vampire flick, and while Coogler does indeed include a lot of the fundamental classic vampire tropes, there is much more bubbling underneath that traditional horror movie flavoring. The themes, storytelling, and set pieces in this film are all crafted with such a deep attention to every single little detail, creating a true spectacle that elevates this film far beyond just a southern version of From Dusk Till Dawn. Coogler's portrayal of the invasion of black spaces by foreign entities is layered throughout the film, providing some incredibly powerful undertones to the central conflict between the human characters and the vampires, as those in attendance at the juke joint are simply not only fighting for their own survival, but their literal and cultural freedom. The marriage between the music and the supernatural elements make for an incredible running narrative for the real protagonist of the film, Smoke and Stack's cousin, aspiring musician Sammy, whose incredible guitar playing and singing skills draw the ire of the movie's primary antagonist, the smooth-talking Irish vampire Remick, as he becomes seemingly obsessed with gaining access to Sammy's natural musical abilities. Another underscored reference to the influence of black culture on music. Of course, when you have this many cinematic balls in the air, you need a cast that can knock it out of the park, and luckily for Coogler and Warner Brothers, every person in this movie is really in their bag. Michael B. Jordan is so genuinely believable as twin brothers Smoke and Stack that I had to remind myself on multiple occasions while watching that he wasn't actually two different people. Miles Canton as Sammy is maybe the best performance in the movie, and that is really saying something given how on the ball this entire cast truly is. Oh, you've never heard of Miles Canton? Well, neither has anybody else, because this was his film acting debut. This kid's future is so bright he'll be wearing sunglasses indoors. Jack O'Connell gives one of the most unique portrayals of a vampire I've ever seen, as his longing for companionship and community mirror that of our human characters. It would have been very easy for Coogler to simply make his movie's vampires a allegory for white racism in the South, but having the film's main antagonist be someone who has experienced decades and possibly centuries of oppression himself gives Remick a much more fascinating motivation for his actions throughout the course of the film. And O'Connell embodies that motivation to perfection over the film's 137-minute runtime. The real show stealer in this movie, however, is Haley Steinfeld as Stack's ex-lover and childhood friend, the foul-mouthed, quick-tempered Mary. Mary honestly isn't in the film as much as you would expect, given the marketing that you've seen around it, but every single scene that she's in, she's the star of, chewing up every single moment of screen time she receives.
I heard you loud and clear, but then you stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard.
Oh, sorry, Josh. Haley deserves her flowers for putting on maybe the best performance of her career in the most high-profile spot in her career, and this hopefully will lead to an elevated profile for the actor personally and a genuine shot at more prominent roles in the future. Sinners is the newest shining example of what can happen when you allow a director the creative freedom to follow through with his artistic vision. Coogler's dedication to even the smallest details has provided us all a film that is rightfully being called by fans and critics alike the movie of the year and an instant classic. Considering this film wasn't the subject of your commonplace massive corporate media marketing campaign, it has relied mostly on word of mouth, much like the juke joint inside the film, to get butts in the seats. Assuming there are still many of you out there who haven't seen this film, but have seen the growing cult following behind it, allow me to answer the question that I posed to you when this review first started. Is Sinners really that good? The answer is undoubtedly yes. Ryan Coogler's Sinners is really that good, and without a shadow of a doubt, worth every single minute of your time it takes up. So if you have an opportunity to do so, make some popcorn, turn down the lights, fire up HBO Max on the biggest screen in your home, and enjoy a modern masterpiece. In the very first review here on the Planet Comedy YouTube channel, Ryan Coogler's Southern Gothic vampire rock opera, Sinners, gets our very first ever 5-star rating. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this review and want to see more like it, like this video, then subscribe to the Planet Comedy YouTube channel, where next Monday we will be taking a look at possibly the most hyped film of 2025, James Gunn's opening DCU salvo, Superman. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, and week. Be kind to each other, believe in yourself, and I'll see you guys soon.